This Georgia Bulldog coach is doing his job better than anybody else in college football. Of course, I'm talking about Georgia defensive coordinator Glenn Schumann. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why he is the best of the best at what he does. I've got quotes from Kirby Smart. I've got quotes from five-star recruits. I've got quotes from current players, 5 stars that didn't commit to Georgia that had great things to say about Glenn Schumann, and so much more. We're going to break it down because if you're a Georgia Bulldog fan, this is a coach that you want in Athens forever. He is that good. He is elite in everything he does, from the recruiting trail, the development, the X's and O's. This guy is elite. He is the best of the best, and we're going to be breaking that down. But first, if you're a new Georgia fan, over the last few years, I want to tell you exactly how good he is and kind of where he came from, because he came to Georgia with Kirby Smart from Alabama, was the inside linebackers coach, worked, with the defense, with that group. And when Dan Lanning took the Oregon job, Glenn Schumann, rightfully so, was promoted to the defensive coordinator position, and he still coaches those inside linebackers. But this is what Kirby Smart had to say about Glenn Schumann not too long ago. He said, "Glenn has always been wise, innovative, a great teacher. Both of his parents were educators and teachers and coaches. You can see he enjoys being in front of the group, in front of the room, and he teaches the game in different ways, thinking outside of the box, and he works extremely hard. So he's dedicated and spends a lot of time on his craft, whether it's scheme or fundamentals or relationships. He was good when he started out, but he's now even more experienced." And I'll tell a quick story before I give even more quotes on Glenn Schumann from just about everyone else. But, when Kirby Smart and his staff, they do these coaching clinics for all the high school coaches, probably once or twice a year. Maybe it's more than that. But the PowerPoint that they give to the coaches, that's all Glenn Schumann. The X's and O's, the scheme, what they're trying to do, how they run Georgia's defense, all of that stuff is put together by Glenn Schumann. So Kirby Smart comes out and he, sets the tone, right? He gives the introduction and talks about their defense a little bit, but then he gives it to Glenn. And Glenn comes on and tells all these high school coaches, this is what we're doing. This is what we try to do. This is how we excel. This is how we win. This is how we build a defense good enough to lead us to 2 straight national championships in 21 and 22. So, this is a guy that has been working with Kirby Smart since his days at Alabama when he was a grad assistant, and had just got better and better and better. And the guy has developed 3 Butkus Award winners, right? Roquan Smith in 2017, he went out and recruited and signed Nakobe Dean in that 2019 class away from LSU, Ole Miss, and Alabama. I remember that, fondly, because I drove basically to Memphis to watch that go down. He was a 5-star, but he still got better under Glenn Schumann, won the Butkus Award, was the best linebacker in college football, and is a starting linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Glenn Schumann is a big reason why. And then Jalen Walker. Jalen Walker was really good out of high school in that 22 class. He was a high 4-star, versatile guy, just a weapon. And of course, Glenn Schumann absolutely got the best out of him. He won the Butkus Award this past year, and just the guy dominated at times, right? The Texas Longhorn fans, they should be praying the Dallas Cowboys do whatever they can to land Jalen Walker. Those people know firsthand how good Jalen Walker is. But he got better under Glenn Schumann. But the guy on the recruiting trail, I'll say this, as someone who covers recruiting, the guy doesn't miss. He goes out and gets his guys. And once he does, he develops them, right? Roquan got better under Glenn Schumann. So did Nakobe, so did Jalen Walker. And they all have trophies and awards to prove that. But Quay Walker got better and better year after year under Glenn Schumann and Kirby Smart. Had his best season in that 2021 season. He was a 1st-round pick, right? Channing Tindall was a 3rd-round pick who got better, and his best season was that 21 season. Small Munden got better and better. He's going to be drafted. Monty Rice was a 3-star from Alabama that Glenn Schumann really liked more than just about everyone else. They had to fight with LSU to get him, but he was a 3-star that turned out to be, a reliable defender. I think he was a 3rd-round draft pick to the Titans, had a nice little short career in the NFL, but, still made money playing linebacker because he got better under Glenn Schumann. Tay Crowder. Glenn Schumann took 3-star running back Tay Crowder from West Georgia, turned him into a dependable linebacker for the Georgia Bulldogs, a draft pick, and into a starting linebacker for the New York Giants. Again, a 3-star running back turned starter linebacker for the New York Football Giants. That's what Glenn Schumann does. And I remember, I think it was after that Baylor Sugar Bowl win. It was Tate Crowder's last game. I'm down there on the field. They're all celebrating when Sugar Bowls, were still a big deal even back then. And Glenn Schumann had Tate Crowder on his shoulders, carried him off the field. He has such a great relationship with his players, and he wins them over on the recruiting show because of the bond and the relationships that he makes with his players and their parents. The guy goes out and just gets his guys. I remember speaking with Chris Cole, who was coming off a strong freshman season for the Dogs last year. Asked him what he likes about Coach Schumann. He said Coach Schumann's ability to teach and develop players at linebacker is phenomenal. He's a teacher that pays attention to all the details, and that's why he's been able to produce players who go on to the NFL. He is a football genius. Glenn Schumann is a football genius. That's what Chris Cole said. The biggest reason I chose to play for Coach Schumann was his passion to help his players reach their full potential. I feel like I will get the best development on and off the field from him and the defensive staff. Nothing compares to the UGA football program. They are elite on every level. So again, just a big reason why. And I know other teams, other programs have great defensive coordinators, right? There's a lot of good ones across the game right now. I will stand on the hill that none of them have done what Glenn Schumann has done, and none of them are better at Glenn Schumann in every aspect of the coaching, ability, what he's got to do, from the recruiting, the development, everything, the X's and O's. This guy, he lives and breathes football. That's what he's thinking about all the time. And it's not just his players that make Georgia's defense great. It is the scheme, and he does put his guys in the best position to make plays. Five-star linebacker Tyler Atkinson, the best player in the state of Georgia, top 10 prospect in the country. This is what he had to say about Glenn Schumann pretty recently. He says, Coach Schumann knows the game of football. He's knowledgeable and has coached some of the best linebackers in the league right now. It's great to get over there and learn from him. Everyone wants to be a part of a winning program, and Coach Smart does a great job of pushing his guys. I love the way they play the game. I've been taking visits to Georgia since I was in 8th grade. They tell me they want a guy like me in their program. Again, it all goes back to the relationships. Chris Jones, who was a freshman linebacker last year, he came in with Chris Cole and Justin Williams. He said Coach Schumann is a football Einstein. So Chris Cole called him a genius. Chris Jones called him an Einstein. Coach Schumann is a football Einstein. Talking with him shows me why Georgia is on top and why they have one of the best defenses in college football. Those were the quotes he gave me right before he committed to Georgia. We knew ahead of time because Coach Schumann locked it down. He goes out, he finds his guys, he builds a relationship with them, and he signs them, and he makes them better, and he sends them off to the league. That's what he does. He's a machine, and he could have left. He could be coaching in the NFL right now if he wanted to. I do think that he'd make a great college football head coach one day. He's not going to be at Georgia forever. Maybe he's Georgia's coach after Kirby Smart. Maybe. That wouldn't surprise me, but eventually he is going to be a head coach somewhere. He is that good. And again, every year that he is there, he makes Georgia a better team, and he makes their defense great every time he's there. And he's going to continue to pump out linebackers. I've said multiple times that there's one thing you can count on at the University of Georgia. It's that they're going to have dogs at the linebacker spot, especially on the inside. But again, other guys that have come through, obviously guys there right now, C.J. Allen, Raylan Wilson, Chris Cole, Justin Williams, five-star Zayden Walker decided to sign with Georgia a year before they signed 2 5-stars. I mean, guys want to play for Glenn Schumann, and they all get better. Even guys that transfer away, Tresman Marshall, Xavier Sorey, Mikael Sherman, right? Those guys may not be your typical inside linebackers, but they came and they learned under Glenn Schumann, and even though it didn't work out at Georgia, they went off to do big things and still are doing big things at other programs. Here's what another 5-star. It was in the current 2026 class. If you want more on him, make sure you head over to Dawg Post. But he said his commitment to his players and family is what stands out the most. He wants to get to know you and not just know you as a business partner, which I thought was a really interesting take there. But this is a guy that's probably not going to end up at Georgia, but still loves what Glenn Schumann brings to the table. A high 4-star kid who signed with, I believe, Notre Dame in the last recruiting cycle, was, interested in Georgia because of Glenn Schumann. He said Coach Schumann is real. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he tells you how it is straight up. He's good at what he does, and he wants the best for all of his players. So again, time after time, anytime I reach out to someone about Glenn Schumann, They rave about him. Here's what Coach Travaris Robinson, who's currently on the staff coaching Georgia's secondary, here's what he had to say about Glenn Schumann. He said, we call him Rain Man. He's very, very intelligent. He sees everything. He has really good ideas. He does a really good job in front of the guys. I think the guys really respect him. He does a really good job of delegating different things to the staff and giving people ownership in their job. You also should see him take more of an editor kind of, I don't know what I wrote there. He's the best on the computer I've ever seen, but he's an awesome dude. He's just a great guy. He's a staff guy. He's a guy that I'm eager to continue to learn and be a part of and help with what we're trying to get accomplished here. So again, he's the best in the game for a reason, and anyone will tell you that. Inside of the Georgia program, outside of it, he's a guy that Georgia fans obviously love. They want him around for a long, long time. He is the best defensive coordinator in college football, and he might prove it once again this upcoming season. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you over on the website.